and all these on that option. Get the mask on my face like a catch. Don't call my phone unless you tryna cop. I'll pull up and serve you well.
Yo! Welcome to LCameraTV. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share the show with things like Facebook and Reddit and Instagram and Roman.com and wherever else. And guys, I know I've been gone for a little minute, man, but things been going on. A lot to talk about later, whatever. Maybe at a later date. But I gotta talk about the Panthers, man. So the first thing I want to talk about is the Panthers' loss to the Vikings. We definitely gotta get into that and what I seen from that game. Gotta get into that. The second thing I gotta talk about is the outlook for the season, because again, we're on a bye week this week, which is, you know, good and bad. It gives times for players to heal up and rest up and get healthy, but it also, you know, I mean, I guess it wouldn't be too bad because we're not winning that many games anyways. So then we got to talk about that. And finally, what's the outlook for the rest of the season and the off season? Because we got a lot to talk about as far as that. And so we got a lot to talk about, guys, like I just said. So let's get started. So the first thing I want to talk about is the Panthers losing to the Vikings. Now, let me get to my statement by saying this. First, you could tell Teddy was still injured, which is not surprising because he had a I think, an ACL sprain, an MCL sprain. He had an MCL sprain, which, like I said, when I Googled it, it takes like 6 weeks to heal. So for some reason, he tried to push himself back. My thing is this, right? Yes, he was injured, but I can't give him a pass because of injury, because what I've seen in the past is that other people didn't give people passes because due to injury. They were like, oh, well, you're on the field, you got to play, whatever. Fine, okay, boom. He was clearly injured, and he did not play well, obviously, because of the injury, dealing with the, you know, injury. But, you know, it is what it is. You get, like, you can't push yourself into the starting lineup, you know what I'm saying, while you're injured just because you don't want to lose your starting job or for whatever have you. It doesn't matter if you want to be a trooper or not. And I've said the same thing about Cam Newton. I've said the same thing about everybody, because at the end of the day, these players try to force their way into it, but you're still going to be criticized like you're not injured. You know what I'm saying? And there's no benefit to that. If you play great, which is very hard because you're dealing with an injury, they're going to be like, oh, yeah, he played great with an injury, but it doesn't help you in any way. But if you play horrible, they're going to castrate you and be like, oh, well, he knew he was injured, he should have been out there. So, obviously, Teddy didn't play well. And we still lost a game where Jeremy Chin looked like a baller with 2 fumble recoveries to the house. So we had 2 defensive touchdowns and we still lost. That is very telling. Obviously, DJ Moore doesn't sound like his injury is, you know, significant, but he did get injured that game too because of obviously a bad pass from Teddy. So there's a lot of things that you know, I seen this game that was disheartening. Not so much surprising, but just disheartening because, you know, you expect to get, when you have 2 defensive touchdowns, that you win that game. Now, I'm kind of happy that we didn't win the game because, like I said, there's no benefit for us winning games. It's just, there is not. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to make the playoffs. You know, there's not much benefit for us. So, for me, it's like, okay, you know, winning, going 8-8, what does that do for you besides worsening your draft situation? So, for me, I don't know, man. It was a bad game. Obviously, thought, you know, we could do something because obviously the defense looked good, but at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, the offense did not show up, and that was mainly because of Teddy and his injury. So it is what it is. And the second thing I want to talk about is the Carolina Panthers are on a bye week this week. And to be honest with you, like I said, this is a time for players to get rested up, heal up, and stuff like that. But I don't really see the benefit of that. Obviously, we're 4-8. We don't really have any real outlook of having a good record. The best we could be now is 8-8, which I doubt that because, again, we still play the Packers this year and the Saints. So I just don't see what the benefit of, you know, us, you know, the bye week and us getting healthy, because at the end of the day, we don't have a chance to make the playoffs. We don't have a chance to be actually a considerable viable team in the NFC. So for me, it's like, you know, yeah, it's great that players are resting up, but should we be in a rush to put players back into the lineup? Like, you know, if I was them, like, I would be, like I said, trying to see different combinations, younger groups, stuff like that. Just, you know, mess around with the lineup and seeing who shows them, who doesn't. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't, you know what I'm saying, it doesn't benefit you to, you know, have Christian McCaffrey, let's say, come back for the last 4 weeks. Why? You already paid him money. He's ready under contract. Let him rest up. You know what I'm saying? Make sure he's healthy for next year, because in the end of the day, it doesn't do anything for him to, come back and be mediocre on a mediocre team and could re-injure himself or injure himself worse. I don't see the benefit. Same thing with Teddy. Why would you put Teddy back in? Know he's dealing with an MCL sprain, and what? Oh man, we want to see what Teddy has. Why? You've seen Teddy for most of the season. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't see the benefit in that. So if I was Matt Rule, I'd be like, listen, man, we're gonna start shutting players down. There's no real benefit to going to the playoffs. We got these injuries in two main pieces, which is your quarterback and your starting running back. Why rush it? Let PJ Walker get some playing time. Let him, get acclimated. Let Mike Davis continue doing what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? And maybe put somebody else in, but don't start putting in guys. Just so they can get reps. It's not even like I can't even say reps really, because at the end of the day, Christian McCaffrey is had an All-Pro season last year. He's a good player. Teddy Bridgewater knows the offense and has gotten reps this year. You know what I'm saying? Let the younger guys, Zestra, let some other guys get in, because what's the point of having Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore, and Curtis Samuel start and play every game if there's no path towards any success or any playoff race? So for me, I would be starting to look at some players to shut down, because at the end of the day, you only got 4 more games left in the season and you're not making the playoffs. That's how I feel about it. And finally, my outlook for the offseason. Man, I feel like the Panthers have some home runs. They really have some really good players. And if we do play our cards right, we can, in 2 years, be a playoff team, maybe even a Super Bowl caliber team. Because Jeremy Chin, Derek Brown, they're looking like ballers. I love Vitor Gross-Matos, even though he was dealing with, he constantly was dealing with injuries and COVID and all kind of stuff. But for the most part, he looked pretty good when he was on the field. Brian Burns is coming into his own. So you have a very good D-line, you know what I'm saying? Even though we weren't getting home in the beginning, we're starting to get home recently, obviously against the Lions. Obviously, we're making plays on defense. They're starting to get acclimated because it's a young group. Next year, they're going to be better than that. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, add another D tackle. One of the fumbles fumble returns that Jeremy Chin took to the house was because of Zach Kerr. Zach Kerr, I think, was a 6th or 7th round draft pick or whatever. I think he took on a double team too and got home. So he looked pretty good. So there's a lot of positives that we could take in the front. The front 7 of our defense. Even though Shaq Thompson is not playing great, Jeremy Chin looks like he's a bona fide baller. The secondary can get better, sure, of course. You know what I'm saying? And that's not a problem. We got cap space and stuff like that, whatever. The O-line could get better, and we got cap space for that. We should sign Taylor Moton, sign Curtis Samuel, keep that 3 receiving core intact. But for the most part, it looks like we have a pretty good nucleus. And a lot of this stuff came from when Ron Rivera was head coach. Obviously, Curtis Samuel, DJ Moore, both Ron Rivera. Christian McCaffrey, Ron Rivera. Shaq Thompson was Ron Rivera. So if we have a pretty good nucleus, you know what I'm saying? In 2 years, like I said, in this offseason, what I would do is I would be focused on fixing the O-line and fixing the secondary. Those are my 2 in free agency and part of the draft. Because me personally, I definitely think we should get a quarterback. But my goal will be in free agency to sign Taylor Moton and get a bunch of good offensive linemen. That's my goal. At least get Matt Paradis under contract, so I would try to get a left tackle and maybe a left guard situation. But that would be my goal in the offseason. You know what I'm saying? Fortifying the line. And if we can get a pretty good O-line, why not go out there a quarterback? We're only on the 7th spot in the draft. You know what I'm saying? And that's because we're 4 and 8. If we don't win any more games, which is very possible, we can be in the top 5 very soon. Like I think 3 or 4 of the teams in front of us are like 3 and 8. So if they win a game, it's the same situation. So, for me, it's like, why not explore this? You know what I'm saying? It just makes more sense. You know what I'm saying? Get a quarterback. You got the cap space. You know what I'm saying? You can build up your secondary and your O-line. And by next year or the year after that, you can be a very good team, a very viable team. So for me, that's what I'll be looking for. You know what I'm saying? Start to shut players down, We seen what we had. The offense looks good. You know what I'm saying? As far as Joe Brady, you know, offensive system. And if you got a quarterback that can run it and run it well, you'll be in, you know what I'm saying, you'll be in great shape. So I think the Panthers look good, but they just gotta play their cards right in this offseason and the draft. Personally, that's how I feel about it. Well, that's it for me, guys. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share cool things like Facebook and Reddit and Instagram and Roam.com and wherever else. And guys, get in the comment section, man. Do you think we should start shutting down our good players? Let's be honest. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't got much wins, and we're probably not gonna make the playoffs. So do you think it's a smart idea to start shutting people down, or do you want to see them play more? Let me know in the comment section below. Make sure you check out my dog Renan's Steam channel. Very funny, very talented guy. Definitely check his stuff out. Check out my podcast, Lights, Up, Camera, Action. Just did a podcast. I uploaded it on Monday. Definitely check that out. And obviously check out my podcast on Anchor, Spotify. It's on all podcast platforms. Definitely check that out. And stay tuned, man, because I got a lot more stuff. I'm thinking about doing a live stream this weekend, even though it's a bye week. Just catch up and hear y'all take on the team in general. Probably not gonna be that long. So let me know if y'all be interested in that in the comment section below. I'm gonna see y'all next time. Peace.